Welcome back to another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, Team Fortress 2, well, the hackers attempt a little bit of the old social media engineering against the Valve, and it ends about as well as you might expect. And a James Bond movie from 2015 is invading all of your things, even your video cards.
Yeah, NVIDIA narrowly avoids a meltdown, but for now we just get a driver update. And another Elder Scrolls game gets an engine re-implementation. Ven Stone reportedly confused and angered.
And Steam reveals their big earners of the year. No surprises there. And the Steam Awards announced their winners. No surprises there either.
Well, the surprises. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm Vin Stone here at LGC Actual, switching the bits, doing the nightmare fuel. As always, under nothing but Linux, joined by one of chilly man up north with his tape measure. Oh, he's happy to see us. That's right, One Masters, Fang, our Toronto correspondent. And the Jersey man himself is back, looking swank as hell, dapper as Dan. You know him. You love him. One Mr. T-Han. What's going on, everyone? Everyone having fun? J-Baby, before we get started, we like to see what's going on in each other's life organs. Have you had anything exciting going on this week?
I saw that Guillermo del Toro exhibit at the Art Gallery of Ontario, so that was kind of interesting, where they had a bunch of like the movie props from Hellboy and The Strain and Crimson Peak and all that stuff. So that was kind of interesting. They had like a bunch of like the storyboards and concept arts too, so that was pretty neat. And I'm on vacation this week. Haha! Fuck you, MT.
Yeah.
What's up, T-Han?
Well, I was on vacation last week and had to go back to work this week. Hello, grind. I'm sad.
Oh, don't be sad. Me personally, I spent what was it, Monday or Tuesday? 35 minutes filling out customs forms and shit. Because to send some things to Canada way. And now, I'm so uncertain about this making it, because I saw something on the news last night. And it was like, oh, plane collided with another plane in Toronto. And I was like, my fucking package was on that. Guaranteed. And
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. It definitely was the thing. And I do want to do a little bit of shop, like right quick, because I know some people don't listen all the way through. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Somebody picked us up that Amazon tablet. And I was like, okay.
Kindle Fire, whatever it is.
Yeah, the new one. It's like $100 tablet.
Yeah.
It's a good piece of kit, man. And it disappeared from our wish zone. I got worried about it, that maybe it ended up somebody's house, and I don't want anybody getting charged or anything like that. So I was like, ring, ring. What's up, Amazon? We love you. And they're like, yeah, they shipped it to their address. Which, if you did that on purpose, cool, man. You're going to dig it. If you didn't and you're wondering, you got an Amazon Fire headed your way, man. I hope you enjoy it. LGC cares. Okay. One thing we always care about every week is the horse. And
it seems to be delivering some hammers this week.
Oh, shit.
Maybe through Amazon. You'll get a cardboard box full of pain. It's the Steam
Linux
Update.
That was your best one yet.
Wow.
All right, let's walk right into this banhammer nonsense, if you want to call that. Earlier this week, yeah, Catbot, you might have heard about it. VAC bans, they were all hoaxed. It was all bullshit. And basically an attempt to stop bots could inadvertently ban innocent players. Bzz, wrong. There was a bunch of filthy, horrible fucking cheaters, wasn't it, Jordan?
Yeah, pretty much. We got a bunch of knee-jerk reactions because earlier this week, if you went on the Reddits, you had people complaining, oh, if you have Catbot in your name, VAC's gonna ban you, blah, blah, blah. The short version is that the people who actually got banned were using said Catbot software and were trying to cheat in their Team Fortress 2, got banned, decided that their cheating does not warrant such a reaction from Valve, and decided to raise a big ol' stink in the hopes that they undo some of the bans and relax some of the VAC cheat detection stuff. And like, let's be real here, because cheat detection is kind of a weird space in software. insofar as it does some really sketchy things in terms of like memory scanning, just to find out whether or not you're cheating or whatnot. Which unfortunately is necessary given the nature of competitive games. So it's a kind of weird balance that you got to strike. Because that's the thing. If you want to have a thriving multiplayer community, you got to cut out the toxic shit like the cheaters and like the spammers and whatever. Unless you're League of Legends or Dota, then bring all those people in. You love them.
Yeah, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of glad something like this happened. Like it went down because now, if you didn't know before, which we're guessing by watching this show did, that, cheaters are straight up scum. I mean, they should be burnt on sight. Nothing a good case of fire wouldn't fix, a good coat of it. And here's just something I see. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it too on our Steam, where there's always that some fucker, this happens once or twice a year, moans and bitches, and then they end up getting lucky because they've concocted a bullshit story believable enough about being unfairly banned by the Steams and all this shit. And eventually, 100% of the time, somebody from Valve will actually show up on the Reddits and be like, yeah, by the way, you're full of shit. Go fuck yourself. And their response 100% of the time is, well, it was worth a try, right? Huh? Right? Die in a fire, people. Seriously, all of you. All the fire.
Yeah, I don't know. I first heard about this and I was just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever read. Literally. I was almost tempted to go create a user on my computer called Catbot, see if it was true. And then I said, you know what? Actually, let's just go on Reddit. And after reading a few replies of people being like, I just changed my username to Catbot and it didn't ban me. It's like, yeah, that's about what I expected here. I mean, come on, they're doing some really advanced, sophisticated magic to catch cheaters. They're not just matching on your username. Come on.
Oh no, it's really if Catbot, then ban. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that's what a lot of people seem to think.
I don't know. I mean, is there something to be said about the attempted coordination? Because I mean, this shit had legs for the better part of an entire day.
That's what
and one of the people involved was actually one of the developers of the Catbot software. So
helping to sow the seeds of Discord, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like weird. It was a weird social engineering attempt with no real. I don't really think they had any real goal inside other than trying to get themselves unbanned.
Yeah,
I don't think it's sort of the Hanlon's razor thing. Never attribute to malice what you could to stupidity. I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Malice and stupidity.
Correct, Mundo. I think we're going to keep on this PC Gamer web zone trend because I got another fun story that kind of rolls into this with big games, kind of like TF2.
Steam announcing their big earners of the year. Of course, without actually giving you the dollar signs that they earned. But, yeah, you take a look at the list. You got H1Z1, Witcher 3... I was kind of surprised to see Original Sin 2 on there. That's not really a game that I would have thought made it.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket League, of course, Grand Theft Auto 5. Rocket League, that's good to see. That's a A+ Linux port right there. That's probably the only A+.
I think you're a little biased there, Brad.
Maybe.
Just a little. It's
a good game, and it's a great port. That's the most important part.
It is.
The most important part? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is really important because we actually got that port, unlike Street Fighter, unlike Witcher.
Witcher 3, yeah.
So I think there's definitely something to be said about that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, if you actually go into the statistics, because they link the source in this article, basically every month had at least one Linux game in the top sellers, which is nice, but we need more games. We need some big ones. I know, Ben, you want some Arch Cup ahead?
Man, listen, at this point, big games are good, but I will definitely settle for small, as I said in the notes. Shit, seriously, just a cup ahead. Kind of be happy with that.
Bring those indie games. That's what we're getting.
Just feed it. But you know what, T-Han, I think this kind of brings up another point, maybe another thing, because it kind of seems that the more popular a game is, this sounds so backwards, but hear me out. the more popular a game is, the more money it makes, the less likely it is to get a Linux port. And, outside of,
even when there's no reason for it not to get a port, like PUBG, which is just UE4.
Well, here's my theory on it.
Quite click export, but it's close.
True. And I know with Feral and to a lesser extent with Aspire, that's the exception to that rule. I think the big thing is, if you have a gangbuster game like PUBG or something like that, or Cuphead, where's your incentive? You already have fuck you money. You're not hungry. You're not like, oh, well, an extra 2,000-3,000 sales would be worth it to go through and get the Linux port done, as opposed to, it's like, fuck it, man, we never got to work again.
But even then, compare and contrast to something like Owlboy, where I would say it had about the same level of hype that something like Cuphead did, because this was both multiple years of hype and development. And we got a Owlboy port. We didn't get a Cuphead port though. I'm not sure what engine they're on though. I'm pretty sure it's Unity. Is it?
Well, any sort of 2D game like that, there's no reason that they couldn't port it.
Oh yeah, it's a Unity title. So
it's straight up Unity. So that is straight up click export. So maybe we'll see it eventually if they decide, you know what, maybe we want another round of maybe like 350 or something.
Possibly. Hopefully they'll give us a pity fuck.
Yeah, we need to get on those publishers. Remember, guys, you gotta wish list all the games you want on Linux. We'll send the message to the devs.
Seems legit. Okay.
Vulcan button. Speaking of, we got one for the Steam hardware survey. We got this little page here. You can see the link to that in our show notes. 2017 this is just a nice little lead-in to the next story that we're going to talk about. But you can see, starting with August, Vulkan-enabled GPUs, seeing how many they are, what the spread is. Looks like the 1060 and 1050 Ti tend to take the top slot, followed by the 1070 and the 970, which seems legit. Those are sort of the upper mid-range cards, with the exception of the 1070, which is an upper range card. Lower, upper range, mid, whatever. The classifications get so muddied at this point. But the big thing about here is that it looks like the 1060 unseated the original champion that was sitting at the top there for a good long while.
Mm-hmm.
The 750 has been dethroned. I don't know. I actually just switched from a 780 Ti to a 1060, and I can say after a couple of weeks here that the 1060 is a solid graphics card on par performance-wise with the 780 Ti. So people who are switching to it are making a good decision.
Right,
especially for $200.
So yeah, man. RIP 750 Ti, man. We hardly knew you, because that GTX 1060 is now the most popular. And Rift overtakes Vive. Okay. Didn't see that coming. Nope. It's kind of a shame, because for a long time, the 750 Ti was the bee's knees. That was the one I recommended to everyone. Still kind of do, because you can get it for like 50 wet sneaky caches. You like the 1060 though, right?
Yeah, it's basically the same performance as the 780 Ti at about half the power. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, well, because it's the
quarter of the price.
It's the Maxwell or whatever 1080 or 980 rather, because now they shift they lift and shift everything like one model number down for the new architectures. I usually recommend people getting the 1050 Ti just because it's still at that sub $200 price point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for a little bit more, you can get a 1060, and either way, you'll still be happy. But this kind of makes sense given that most people tend to cycle their video cards, at least the lower mid-range ones, every couple of years. So
two generations. So I think once you get about two generations behind, it's time to update.
So, and the 1060 is 2 generations ahead of the 750 Ti. It seems to flush. Also apparently, just in general.
The Vulkan support on the 10 series cards is noticeably better than it was on the 7 series cards. That's another small observation I've made in the move.
Yeah. I haven't really messed around with Vulkan too much on my 750, just because usually it's just on the TV box, so that's usually just playing like Broforce.
I think NVIDIA probably just doesn't test as much on their older cards, if you go figure.
It is true.
shock.
So, we got awards, man. Awards all over your face.
Yep. Steam has announced their Steamy Award results. And it's nothing really that surprising.
Witcher, PUBG, Stardew, Witcher, Just Cause, Counter-Strike,
some more Rocket
Tomb Raider,
League.
and Cuphead.
Yeah, it's totally the Witcher 3 and CD Projekt Red thumbing their noses at us like, oh yeah, we don't need Linux to win all these awards.
Well, and that's the thing. This is all pretty predictable, given that most of the placers here are on the top sellers list in the previous story. So
exactly.
No big surprise here at all.
Meh, I don't know, man. Couple ways to look at that is, I agree this is a big honking list of games that should be all on Linux, but they're not. That said, we do have Rocket Cars. We have Stardew.
We're just going to cling to Rocket Cars.
We have Gary's Mod. We have CSGO. We don't have Tomb Raider. We get that other Tomb Raider. We don't have the new hotness with a Tomb Raider. I'm glaring at you, Farrell.
Did we actually have Gary's Mod, though? I seem to remember trying it a few months ago, and it wouldn't even start anymore.
Then again, I mean, it's kind of a state of flux. I don't know. I mean, what day of the week is it? Right.
Have you done your updates recently?
That could definitely be an issue.
It depends on how well Rust is doing, is the question of whether or not it works on Linux or not.
Right.
That is true, but maybe you'd have better luck if you updated your Brewmaster, son.
More updates.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, this is a pretty tame update. They say it's big, but what it really is they're updating all of the operating system core. So new Linux kernel, new NVIDIA drivers, new Mesa. They have the GL vendor neutral dispatch stuff enabled in SteamOS finally. I'm not sure how well that's actually supported because, we haven't really seen much in the way of switchable graphics via GNOME, which was the project that was driving that forward. Updates to firmware, Samba to fix some CVEs, new LLVM. I mean, it's your standard apt-get updates. There's new shit, new hardware that needs to be supported on SteamOS, so have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing. It's, listen, I'm glad whoever you are, that one person still at Valve that went, wait a minute, didn't we do a Linux distro for gaming or some shit like that? And it's like, oh, right, let's update that. And they did.
Oh, it's been 6 months. Uh-oh.
Yeah, good on that.
Slap a new kernel on its video drivers, good to go.
So
that's good to see that they're still pushing their reference platform, but
yeah,
they're not fooling anybody.
No, I don't think they are, man. We got one update this week. Let's get into a little bit of games itself. I'm going to butcher this. Power Room. I don't know, man.
The Soldat gave us a copy of this, actually.
Yeah, man. And I actually tried it out. I dig it. This is very well done, and it makes your brain organ hurt when you play around with it. I don't want to spoil anything. You can do a little reading. The big news, which, hey, we can give our MacOS friends a little bit of love because they just got a really expensive Mac Pro that can actually play games. And, but really this update, they focused on a bunch of levels, a bunch of little fixes for that. And I'm kind of excited about this. They've also fixed the menu flickering on Linux, when playing by 16:9, which is good because, when I put this thing in UHD, it flipped the hell out. So I'm going to go back and play with that. I just like to see a team working on something that this is better than just your standard bullet hell shooter. It's got more thought into it, and it's being put together properly. So I'm going to say good on them. I just wanted to give that project a good mention. But we did have a couple of new games, didn't we, Jordan?
Yeah, we got a new survival. We got some new walking simulators. This first one's State of Mind. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Max Headroom, looking at some of those faces. There's not really much in the way of like actual gameplay displayed in the store page itself. They have a couple menus and dialogue options. It's coming Spoon, and it's supposed to be some transhumanistic fiction, which I'm usually into. So I'll probably give this a looky when this finally releases.
We're going to need that DirectX 10 card or better though for the Linux version. So
this is true. Well, I mean, you gotta plug in that 8800 GT. That's the top of the line card on the Linuxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a sound card with the latest drivers. So, Ben, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to uninstall Jack to play this game.
Oh, God damn it. I just got it working.
I'm sure you can install the ULSA to Jack bridge and make it work somehow.
Oh, man, that's definitely a thing. It doesn't look like shit, so it's got that going for it, right?
Yeah, like I said, I kind of
nice.
dig the max headroom aesthetic. But again, we don't really know. Third person adventure story driven gameplay, switching multiple story layers, multiple playable characters. That doesn't really tell us much about the game itself. So this is just kind of a blip on my radar. Hey, it might be an interesting story, science fiction. I like it. Let's maybe give a look once it's available in 2018.
Well, this game coming up
point.
next, my Lysdexia either wants to call it Stabro or Starbro.
Yes.
Starbro.
Starbo.
Speaking of
it's like
transhumanism, yeah.
but
Got another game about
so-
someone waking up dead, going on an underwater adventure. I don't know. Once again,
Dave Mustaine.
it looks really good. It looks really, really good. Until you see the people's faces, and then you're like, "Oh my god, the horror, the uncanny."
It looks
valley.
like some LA noir quality faces, which weren't bad, but we've seen better in the past couple of years.
I don't know,
Video
man.
games definitely have not.
What is it? You never heard of it? When a plane crashes in a Caribbean sea, a passenger ends up in a mysterious, spooky adventure far beyond set written. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You're dead. You're on the bottom of the ocean. Trippy things happen.
Yeah. They do have a seizure warning right on the page though, so that's definitely a thing.
$16.99
all the
wet
things.
stinky caches. It requires the elusive 1 gigabyte.
Yeah,
DIMM.
you just need a 1 gigabyte
2.512s.
DIMM of RAM and some GL Core compatible GPU. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Yeah. Hey,
It,
man.
it looks like it's going to be a sort of Soma Amnesia type game with the wandering and puzzle solving.
Definitely
and
saw
running
shades
away
of
from
Soma in
horrible
there,
monsters.
and especially since they just kind of announced like, I crashed and died, and now I'm on an adventure. A little bit of transhumanism,
it
something
doesn't-
going on in there.
It doesn't have enough Canadians though. 0 out of 10. No Mountain Dew for you, Starbo.
I am not convinced by the Canadian subway. 0 chairs.
All right.
I totally wasn't like, this is supposed to be TTC train. No, it's not. I spent way too much time on those. Anyways, coming up next, we talk about a little bit of a meltdown. I pulled my hair out. It's going to be fun. And installing Linux on a PlayStation. So easy, an Arch user could do it. Welcome back to this horrid piece of film that you are currently subjecting yourself to. If you're an audio listener, it's still a piece of film. Shut up. And of course, we got to take a moment and thank all the lovely people who are enabling us to produce this crap week in and week out. Those are the people who head on over to linuxgamecast.com, click the support the show button, engage with the Amazon affiliate links for the League of Nations, the Newegg affiliate links, the Humble affiliate links. Maybe buying some stuff off of an Amazon wishlist gets you on the fuck wall. Frank will hug you and hold you and make you feel all safe and warm. And of course, we got Bitcoin donations, we got Bitcoin Cash donations, PayPal, and of course the constantly screwing over their customers, patreon.com/LinuxGameCast, where you too can be one of the ravenous hordes of people who donate money week in and week out to fund this. We got a lot of levels that you can get in at. You can get access to the show notes and all the way up to buying your way onto the show. We got streams funded, an extra show on Wednesday. It's all sorts of good stuff. We produce a lot of content for you guys. You will definitely get your money's worth. And we got a couple people we got to thank on the Patreons. The Sildat increased his pledge, coming from France. He's the true French person now. I think he might unseat Strider as the official Frenchie if he stays there a little longer. And Luke W., who is a brand new Patreon. Thank you so much for giving us money. Prepare to be disappointed.
Hey, man, this patron thing angers and confuses me. How does it work? Is there any point? I just give you money and you just don't do anything? Do I get anything back?
Yeah, Pretty much, this is the Nixie Pixel podcast, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll
cocaine
continue.
and hookers don't pay for themselves, right?
He's just rolling it out. Hey, beautiful people, if you want to, man, you do get a couple of neat rewards. It's a good way to support this nonsense and get some stuff back, like early show note access. Watch this shit get made during the week and chime in. Let us know what's going on. You get your name in those awesome, mind-melting Star Wars credits at the end. Also in the Wednesday's show. Early access to all of our uncut VODs. That business, that's like 5 hours. I don't know who would want that. Reservations for our game streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And as J-Baby said, you can actually buy your way onto the damn show. And as always, we have the Fuck Wall 2.0 for anything that shows up from our wish zone. Because Frank he actually wrote a J there. It's not Dan WJ, it's Dan W, followed by J. Keeping it real. So, we got some display drivers to talk about, gentlemen.
Yeah, there was a bit of a snafu this week involving some predictive branch attacks. The 390.12, well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. This is the 390.12 beta driver from NVIDIA. You can download it. It adds official support to the Titan XP Collector's Edition and the 1070 Ti, which I honestly thought was already supported.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a little bit weird.
Well, I think it was,
but anyway.
Like most NVIDIA cards, even before they had official support, you plugged it in and it worked, right?
Yeah, this probably just adds it to like the hardware whitelist. There's also, for those of you who love multi-monitor setups, you can now rest easily. You can now have your 24 display SteamOS setup that just works out of the box. It's great. No more issues with that for setups with SLI or base mosaic layouts with more than 24 displays.
Hey, man,
I just love that.
You gotta like the fact that they just put that in there. It's like, yeah, by the way, this is a thing now.
You were wondering.
What I do want to know is, will this driver finally build against mothering kernel 415 so I don't have to patch it, manually install it?
That is the real question, and someone who's on 415 could maybe answer this. I built this on 414, and I'm not running into any issues. MT, did you try this out on the 1060?
I have not tried it on the 1060 yet. Once again, I'm on 411.12 or something like that, and it didn't build. So,
Really,
that's weird.
Yeah,
that is very weird. Perhaps you need to update your kernel headers. But speaking of that thing that I was talking about previously at the top of the story, I'm melting. Oh God, please help! What a world! What a world! What a world!
Hey, man, in fact, all the things, NVIDIA has addressed the Spectre vulnerabilities. No, not the James Bond film from 2015. Yeah, basically, good guy NVIDIA, whatever. I know, oh, you're shilling Team Red for life, whatever. New cards, old cards, you name it. You're talking from R390s back to R384 series. And they are addressing, now it really wasn't the two variations of Spectre that could theoretically be used to infect you. But they're already getting the drivers out there to sort it, and the old hardware is going to be good as well. You say what you want now, the open source, Mesa drivers and all that, those are great. Those support stuff way back when, but like the Fire GPU Pro, whatever AMD's calling them this week, man, AMD drop support is like, wait, how many weeks old is that product? Yeah, no, that was legacy now. Right. So I just wanted to give NVIDIA a little bit of credit for doing that. Nothing to really worry about. They also mentioned that this could affect your Shield everything, your tablets and your other shields.
Shield TV, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
All that stuff. By the way, though, if you have a Tesla card, you're still going to have to wait a little bit longer to get those updates. They don't have the drivers published, but like I said, if you installed the ones from the previous story, you should be good to go.
Right on. So, we got another Humble Bundle, and it had some Linux love in it. And, I think I technically say it has 3.5 Linux games in the Humble Staff Pick Bundle. It's got Punch Club, it's got Origami, Shenzhen, I think Beholder, BioShock is virtual programming, so you'll expect that what you would. But I gotta say, $597 plus is probably worth it for Origami. Multiplayer fun. We probably need to play a little bit more of that. And who was it? Renee. He chimed in on the show notes and said that the IO Shenzhen is pretty hot business, and I've heard a lot of people say this is surprisingly a good game. I still don't even understand what the fuck it is. I'm be honest.
I don't know what that is either.
It's kind of like that game TIS 100, where you had the bunch of different processor cores that all ran instructions, and you had to route your data properly through it. Except that they give you more types of cores, and you get to place them yourselves and draw routes.
Oh,
it looks really cool. I have not tried it.
It's basically like it's like a Arduino Sketch application game thing. Yeah?
It's more like Processor Simulator, the game.
Well, this one says build circuits using a variety of components from different manufacturers, like microcontrollers, memory, logic gates, LCD screens. So I think this is just like general electronic templating.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all about connecting the buses and how all the data flows between all the different parts and all that. TIS 100 was much more of just the microprocessor. This seems like they've diversified their components a bit.
Well, I mean,
the
there's
Wu-Tang
that.
financial approach.
Or you just go old school and build the CPU in Minecraft.
Right.
Yeah.
Single adder takes half the world and...
So, gentlemen, we have a new benchmark, and this is the first benchmark I've seen that is done in Unity.
Oh, geez. So, Tyler's Frame Machine.
Mm-hmm. A simple, free, educational, small, cross-platform, portable tool for testing, benchmarking, calibration, frame rate, comparison. Anyway, it does Vulkan, so you might want to give it a try. Oh, you know this is going to be quality right here because it's got PCMR all over it. And there's precompiled binaries. They're OpenGL version. It's a thing, but the Vulkan recommended. To which I will retort, man, fuck you and your Vulkan build when you got 2 GPUs, because that shit just locked my box up. Yeah.
I saw you put that in there, and because I got a dual GPU box, I said, you know what, pass.
I'll give it a try eventually once we get a forum post going for it. And we'll see. We'll see if it's any good. Can't be any worse than PTS. So,
well, yeah. I mean, well, I was kind of curious. Is like, why would you use Unity for benchmark?
That's setting the bar low to start with.
I mean, is your benchmark to run it?
We need a new EPeen comparison thing for Chat Realm. So, I mean, whatever. That is what it is.
Union Heaven is old news, and Valley. Well, they did do a new one, like The Office or something like that.
Wasn't it like Super Collider or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's months old. Yeah. We definitely need a new way.
Well, the thing about Super Collider is it's OpenGL only. This does support Vulkan, so if you want to be brave and scream YOLO, go give it a try.
If I do 1060 and better Vulkan support.
Bring it, son. What do we got up next?
This is from low. The guys from my brain just completely farted on the name of the Failoverflow. They finally got the massive nasty feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, you get the what do you call it? Linux running fully on the PlayStation 4. I can't even talk. I'm just hearing myself like a split second afterwards. Is it gone now? Seems like it's gone. All right, cool. Anyways, Linux on PlayStation 4. You can boot it now. They have an exploit. It's on the latest firmware, the 405. It was originally working on the 176 firmware, got updated to 405. It all works. You may need to reboot it a couple times just because the PlayStation 4 uses ASLR, so you may need to have multiple iterations to make sure that it loads the correct exploit and then executes your Linux kernel. The one thing that we've always been interested about in this project is whether or not you can get effective Mesa running on there, because PlayStation 4, you can pick it up for about $300 now. Just brand new for the base model. You can probably get it cheaper used. Not a bad little computer if you could, just for regular ass desktop use, if you could get Linux working on there. Maybe do some light gaming.
Maybe. I don't know about AMD GPU though. That's some sketchy country right there, and I guarantee you that they're not using any sort of stock silicon. I'm sure it's got some weird little Sony exclusive tweaks and everything to it. So
Yeah,
maybe someday there's a better chance of getting GPU acceleration running on the PS4 than there was on the PS3, though, where they intentionally shielded Linux away from it. This is at least a full exploit where you have access to all the hardware.
And the fail overflow guys were basically saying when they were writing their exploits and trying to get the Linux kernel running on the PlayStation 4 was that there are a lot of like interceding chips and management engines and whatnot in place in the PlayStation 4, so it doesn't resemble your traditional PC architecture as well. Mm-hmm. So Mesa will have to get hacked to play nice with it.
No kind of great going on with that. Super Mario Brothers. This is technically you can make it work on Linux somehow, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. It's a ROM patch, so you they have a little Python script you can download, run it against Super Mario Brothers DS, which I actually have a legit copy of that somewhere. It's on the bookshelf there because it came with my old DS. But it's a bunch of new levels, a bunch of new mechanics for the Super Mario Brothers DS game. It will run on Linux if you have something like DS Moom installed, which is just a Nintendo DS emulator. You will need to get a copy of the ROM, though, so you may need to go through less than legitimate means. Or if you have a ROM dumper for Game Boy Advance games, you should use that, because that is the legal way to do it. So grab it before Nintendo ASMRs it.
Yeah, I downloaded it. The one thing I noticed that the download servers are clearly located in Mordor, and got that done. Then I read what you put in the notes. You're like, oh, then I need the real ROM. Yep, don't care that much. Tapped out right then.
I wonder if the fact that it's a patch on the real ROM is why Nintendo hasn't noped it from orbit yet. Or maybe they just haven't seen it. I don't remember using Nintendo resources, so...
The Mother 3 fan translation was also a ROM patch, and I don't remember if Nintendo took that down or not. Send us some hate mail if you remember what actually happened with that, just because why the hell not? But it's of course you can still pick up another Metro 2 remake because it's the internet, and you can't get rid of anything on the internet.
So
it's like the Earth that remembers.
I don't know what the hell an Elder Scrolls Arena is, and I really would like to keep it that way, but unfortunately, this is not my lucky day.
No, Elder Scrolls Arena is otherwise known as Elder Scrolls 1. It's the first Elder Scrolls game released on DOS. You can pick it up for free, actually, on the Elder Scrolls website, along with Daggerfall. This is just a C++ 11, SDL2, OpenGL, full engine port of the first Elder Scrolls game. You can build it. Supposedly it works. They have some in-game screenshots. I just love this game preservation stuff, so I'm always 100% behind this stuff. It's not quite as unnecessary as Daggerfall Unity, and not quite as insane as Open Morrowind. So I don't know. It's a neat little project. You can play original Elder Scrolls on Linux without DOSBox. That's nice.
Yeah, except that the game that they're recreating here is a bit raw. It doesn't really hold up very well to the modern aesthetic. It's kind of the same problem that Daggerfall has, which is why everyone is like, why did they start with the Open Morrowind remake? Why didn't they start with Arena or Daggerfall? Because they're obviously inferior games.
Well, I mean, it's good in the simple preservation aspect that now that once this is 100%, it will always be playable no matter.
Hopefully they'll fix some of the terrible things.
Oh no, you do not want to touch that holy war, man. Like, how dare you.
But that's the cool thing though, is now that you have the engine, now that you have all the assets, you can go make your own freaking Elder Scrolls game with blackjack and hookers. In fact, you know what? Screw the Elder Scrolls games in general. I'm gonna take a walk.
Hey man, do you think possibly that they could add some Vulkan support to it?
Sure, that would be good. It needs to run at 3,000 frames a second instead of only 300.
That's exactly what we need, yeah. DOSBox with Vulkan. That's the way to go. RPCS3, another group of our favorite psychopaths, have a progress report for December 2017 to close out the year, because it's January 2018 now, and we don't own time machines because they're very, very expensive, and DeLoreans are just really crappy cars in general. So, lots of interesting stuff in here. Apparently, the NVIDIA Vulkan implementation doesn't properly parse values in scientific notation, which was causing a lot of issues. And this speaks to the type of shit I love about these emulation projects that do deep dives into, like, graphics APIs, because they really, really stress what your drivers can do. And, like, they're already finding holes in Vulkan that will need to be patched later on. And that's just so cool that you would never see that in something like DirectX, because no one does this shit for DirectX. They have a bunch of updates. Demon Souls is playable in 4K now. Uncharted apparently works in 10K if you're so inclined. And the first two Nier games now apparently run better on Linux than they do on Windows for a reason that the developers quite can't explain, which is kind of nice.
Oh man, I love these guys so hard. I want to have all their babies because, listen, not only do these glorious psychopaths, like, yeah, it's not like, oh yeah, technically it runs on Linux, go have fun with it. Nay, I mean, these guys are, and gals, however you want to do it, use your pronouns, Vin. They're straight out optimizing and really genuinely supporting Linux. Isn't that nice, CMT?
It absolutely is, especially since they've figured out how to translate a crazy architecture like the PS3 and actually get it to run on computers. That's impressive.
At 10K.
Mm-hmm.
At 10K, yeah.
Gotta have that 10K support, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How else are you going to play Last of Us?
But no, they're adding more games by the day, and it's just going to be nice when you can. This is the best thing about PC gaming as a platform. It's not like a console where you get locked into like whatever exclusives. No, if you just wait long enough, there will be emulation software to run your games.
Indeed. So, what do we got coming up next?
Bro. You gotta listen to me, bro. We gotta go rescue Broside and King of the Broshan, and then report back to Broden, the ruler of Bra Scarred. Anyways, we're throwing cheers at Bro Force. It's gonna be fun.
Brilliant.
Listen, you don't want to bro your load too soon. We got a ways to go for this bro job. We're throwing cheers at Bro Force from Free Lives is on the Unity engine. You can pick it up for $14. We didn't get any special treatment for this. We got it through Humble, because this goes on sale more often than, your mom. When evil threatens the world calls on Broforce, an underfunded, overpowered paramilitary organization. So this is Chair Acquisition, where we take a look at a game, we do a little bit of a roundtable, maybe poke at it with a stick, see what kind of things the devs should have QA'd out of there before it got released to the general public. We got the Chair Acquisition rating of chairness. 1 chair means that it's garbage. 2 chairs means that it's meh. 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. 4 chairs means that it's awesome. And we got our categories Doom mixed with the working. Shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So, to kick this off, I'll hand it off to our guest this week, Mr. Mike Tehan, in his lovely, lovely hoodie. Did Broforce make with the working?
Broforce on my Ryzen 1700X. Newly powered by the GTX 1060. It opened in a window and ran flawlessly. It did give me the Unity blue screen of nope, but I'm going to forgive it for that because it was only for a few seconds.
Right on.
Yeah, the
4 chairs.
The Unity bloop a noop is just a thing you got to deal with the Unity 5 or the Unity 5 games. It beats the freaking Unity Scream a nope. But anyways, yeah, you can check out the stream on Thursday. It's the VOD's posted on YouTube, I believe, and you can see for yourself about the network multiplayer woes that will causing the chair to be dinged. I didn't run into the windowed mode issue that Ven will go on about. Everything else worked. Pro tip, though. If you have a controller paired as a Steam controller, make sure that you don't turn Steam overlay off before playing this game.
Why would that be a problem? That couldn't possibly affect anything. Crazy talk.
No. But what about you, Ven?
Hey, man, over here on... I'm sorry, what was that, sweetheart?
I was just going to say, yeah, on Fedora 26 64-bit with the i7 6700K GTX 980.
All right. On Tipsy Danger, the box of business, Ubuntu 17.10, kernel 4.14, whatever it is this week. 980 powered UHD displayed. Ryzen 1700, not an X. I'm not cool like Empty, man. Old school. Yeah, I did have to manually set the windowed mode via Steam launch options. I don't know. Maybe because I got 4 monitors and a very weird configuration between 2 video cards. Could be blamed on that. It does like to hang randomly with Steam overlay enabled. Found that out Thursday. Steam controller flipped out more than once. More about that in the controls section. Online multiplayer somehow managed to suffer from lag when I was hosting the damn game. I don't even know how that's fucking possible. I'm actually almost more impressed than I am angry about that. So, it's playable. That's all I can say about it, man. It's playable.
Yeah, so that's 3 chairs for Mix with the Working. How about Shiny and Sounds, Ben? What did you think about that?
Short and sweet hipster pixel goodness, man. Nothing to really poop on, since it's all very well done. It's detailed. It's animated. If that's your thing, I kind of liked it. Character blindness, as we were talking about Thursday, that shit's so legit it burns, man. Didn't really notice it had a soundtrack until I went back to edit the video. I was like, oh yeah, all right, it got it as a soundtrack. It's mostly basically this show, but toned down a little bit, if we're going to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I feel comfortable like giving it more than Working, man. I think it looks really good for what they were going for. It's not lazily done and hipster pixel done right. What about you, Jay Baby?
Yeah, character blindness is super real, and that's what dings at one chair, just because in a game where you're supposed to do some precision platforming stuff, if you can't see where you are, it gets a little difficult. Yeah, that said though, I like the aesthetic. I dig the character designs. They're all fun little pastiches of known action 80s IP. Sometimes there's a little bit of 90s thrown in there. Sometimes there's even a little bit of 70s, just for good measure. But yeah, the soundtrack is just kind of there in the background. You don't really notice it all that much. This game doesn't really win that many points on its presentation, just because it's kind of meh. It's nothing new. We've seen these sorts of shooters before, but the real meat of the game isn't in the presentation. So I'm just gonna give it 2 cheers. It's gonna score higher in the other sections. Spoiler alert. What about Empty? What do you think?
Yeah, don't you love it when you go to download a hipster pixel game and it's like 2 gigabytes?
Oh, hell yeah.
You're like, those are some really, really high def, huge pixels that you got going on. Well, this game was only like 300 megabytes, which I consider pretty reasonable considering, the level of detail they put into everything and all the little bits that go flying everywhere. At first, I thought it kind of had like a Metal Slug type aesthetic, but it's not really so much Metal Slug. Metal Slug is much more clear, and the character blindness really is a thing when you start doing the multiplayer in this game. But, it looks really nice. It sounds pretty decent. I don't know. I turned the music off and just listened to the gunshots. And it's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, all right. So that's 2 cheers for the Shiny and the Sounds. What about controls? I had no real issues with controls. Like I said, there's the Steam controller thing is not the fault of the games. That is just how the Steam input system works. So I'm not going to ding any cheers for that. It's actually relatively playable with keyboard and mouse. You use the arrow keys and ZX to activate your A and B, just like you would an emulator back in the day. And with the DualShock 4, everything works. All the mappings are sane. No real issues whatsoever. I'll give 4 cheers for control.
How did it work with the Xbox 360?
The Xbox 360 controller worked flawlessly.
Oh, okay.
Although the mapping shoot to the X button was a little weird, and no real issues. Especially, you can learn a new controller layout in 30 seconds, and then you just roll with it. I thought it was actually pretty tight for an action platformer kind of game. Although, like, clinging to the walls and stuff, There's some times where you're driving around in a vehicle and you fall down in a pit and you can launch yourself out at the last second and cling to the walls. And all in all, I'd say the controls are very, very solid for a platformer.
I had a decent time with it. Used the Areola controller, the Steamy controller. I've been forcing myself to use that instead of the X-Clone. You know, I'll tell you this. When it's not being a complete butt about everything, it's logically laid out of the box with the Steam controller, no issues. Everything worked like expected. Again, when it's not being a butt, because works with air quotes, because you get overlay on. As soon as we get into the overworld map, it happened twice. Just lost its shit. Flipped the fuck out. And had to recover from that in a very non-graceful way. But yeah, outside of that, if you're just playing in single player, man, no complaints whatsoever.
All right, well, that's 3 chairs for the controls, and let's put a bow on it. Empty, did you have fun playing Broforce?
I actually had a great time. I've owned this game for like a year and a half, and I never played it. And when I fired it up and got through the first level, and there was gore flying everywhere, and you jump on the helicopter and the whole level explodes for no reason, I was like, this is surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing it. So I played it before we started looking at it for the chair acquisition at a friend's house. We were doing couch co-op, and that works relatively fine. It's pretty fun going through and blowing things up in waves of hipster pixely nightmare fuel. And the online mode is a little buggy. I don't know. I haven't been able to replicate the issues I was having on Thursday. It looks like whatever that was, it may have been like a Toronto regional server thing. Because now the server list shows up, I can just join games with no real issue. And when it does work, network multiplayer is a blast. This is a great game to play with friends, and even single player was really solid. It's just like a Mega Man style shooter with the entire environment being destructible, so it's all good funs. And the character design is good. It has a nice sense of humor about itself. The announcer just kind of goes completely hog wild and eventually just stops being entirely comprehensible. Starts screaming "Brah, brah," or whatever, and it's good fun. I dig it.
Yeah, man. I mean, multiplayer. Listen, we spent like a solid 20 minutes. Now, right now, if we hopped into the after shows and did it right now, it'd probably work. But we threw it a curveball. We put hard mode on it because we had Foxdog in that business from Space Australia, and I'm sure that confused the hell out of it trying to get that timing down. Yeah,
250 millisecond pings are killer.
I'm telling you, man, that sucked a lot of fun out of it for me. That 20 minutes was like, why can't we connect? Why can't we connect? Then we connect, and Jordan rightfully didn't hit the keyboard. He was like, damn controller should work, which 100% it should. Then it had the aha moment. I was like, motherfucker. All right. So, I think this is really better suited for local co-op party game. I could see that, where everyone can just sit the fuck down and play it right then. Did I have a good time with it? Didn't hate it, but it really doesn't do anything new. I've played games like this before. I can't say I've played better, but this is a fuck around game, and I enjoy them. They're not bad. I do like the parody characters, and I do like the humor, but I don't know if that would sustain it for any type of other than, hey, let's, not endorsing this, but let's get fucked up and play this for a hot second and go do something else.
Thanks to the magic of post-production, this all looks fine. Fun gets a big ol' 2 chairs. Tally all that up. Broforce gets 2 chairs total. The Strider. In spite of that, I'd say throw an asteroid on there. Because this is a fun game. I would recommend this to people. I think, Empty, you're of a similar mind?
Absolutely. There was a moment in the game where it kind of zooms in on one of the suicide bombers in the tower, and it flashes back and shows his whole little life story growing up. And I don't want to spoil the ending for you, but it really speaks well to the sense of humor that this game has. So that they were willing to throw a silly little aside in there like that.
One of the things we do have to ask, if it's not on sale, is this worth the iron price at $14.99?
That's a little steep. Not gonna lie.
It's a little steep. You can get it on Humble for often pay what you want, but if you're just gonna go out and buy this game, I would say if you got people locally to play with, then yes, $14.99, go for it.
Also, if you like bloody, gory, funny shooters, platforming shooters, if that's your kind of game, then maybe it is worth $15.
Could be. And I think what hurt this game is technical shit, man. I mean, not the game itself. It's just, it's got some rough around the edges, especially for something that's been out as long as it has.
Yeah, especially with the online multiplayer, they really could have done a bit of a better job with that.
Especially for a game that is basically designed around it.
Yeah, but all things considered, the core gameplay mechanics are hella solid. The humor is good stuff. The visuals are passable. I would give this a solid recommend. Go check this out. Wait till it goes on sale, but definitely grab it.
Okay.
Yeah. So coming up next. I would compare you to a kiss from a rose on the train, but I gotta compare you to a kiss from a rose on the Cocaine Voltron.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's right, you've made it to the end. I don't know how you've done that. We are equally, aren't we, Frank? We are very impressed, very proud of everyone who stuck with us. It's time to scream back in our direction because... Hey, man, we just spent like almost an hour doing it to you. And if you want to do that, head over to LinuxGameCast.com. Hammer on that contact button. We've got a bunch of ways and ideas and thoughts for that Wednesday show we do. This show, Jordan provides relationship advice, or maybe you just got some other random ass bullshit you want to scream in our direction. Do it here. It's a way to make sure that, hey, we all get it. It shows up in our hate mail. Then we can spread the hate around and get back to you. Hints, thoughts, questions, allegations, whatever you want. We like it.
Unsubstantiated rumor. Don't forget.
One of our favorites. We can double down on those. You can leave us comments on the YouTubes if you found this video. We have a YouTube channel, apparently. No guarantees on that, but if it's really good, let us know. Send us some feedback through our contact forum about your YouTube comment, because that's a roundabout way of doing things, right?
Or do it through Patreon. You're paying us, so you get the direct line of communication.
Gonna be honest with you, if you leave a comment on like the post on Patreon, we're gonna get back to you, 100% guaranteed. So we someone took some artistic liberty with some shit we were playing around in the live show last week.
Yes, some sweet tenderness from our lovely fan.
Can we call the fan art farts? So we've got the sharts on the farts.
Yep. What are we seeing for our audio listeners, which are most of everyone?
You're seeing Pedro trying to French me because, well, you were messing around with like portrait orientations, and I made like some joke about Spider-Man, and then Pedro and I started making out, and then Warren drew it.
Got a little weird, but it's okay.
No.
Oren, it just is verifiable evidence that Oren has survived Bangladesh for yet another week.
It is good to know.
Mind you, if the authorities find this, he may not.
He's in trouble. Could be. We just wanted to bleach everyone out, but Dimko, a Russian listener, wrote in, told us about some things, Jordan.
Oh, well, you're making me read this one, eh?
Yep.
All right. Go fuck yourself, buddy.
No problem.
Yeah. All right. This thought may be of some interest. Had chat with them over Facebook. Q, can I ask you a few questions? Hey, of course you can. Fire away. Did I understand correctly that you are in direct competition with Steam and then some? So, platform will have many mixture of functionality. So, platform, you will be able to buy games from Steam, Origin, and number of stores like TESArena, and platform will keep track of your digital game.
You can summarize this, man.
Really?
All right. So he's no. I have to read the entire thing. Then you put this responsibility on me. I now have the fans demand.
Listen, motherfucker, I gotta edit this shit, so it's you're gonna condense it one way or the other.
That's fine. All right, the short version is he's asking these Gex guys. They've started some kind of crowdfunding thing about a new gaming platform, centralized gaming, where you can track all of your various purchases across Humble and whatever. These guys are kind of going to be in competition with Steam. It's basically just like Lutris for the masses, I would think. But Dr. Joms, aka Dimko, aka that guy in Russia who's our fan, asked these guys a couple questions. You can read the full response, the link to which will be in the show notes. Basically just saying what I have condensed for you. P.S. Your capture sucks, penises. It asked me 7 + 2 and said 9, and I didn't like it.
So they're currently on the Kickstarter. He did ask them about what about Linux, and they wrote back and they're like, hey, yeah, we're going to wrap it in a bunch of electronic nope. They currently have 1,300 American wet stinky caches pledged out of a goal of a very reasonable 48,116, 14 backers, 40 days to go, and they've just gotten more coverage than probably going to get. They currently have no prototype, and they're using Electron, so I will say, yeah, no, Discord kind of done ate your lunch on that. Empty? What are your thoughts, man?
I don't know why. I don't know. I don't even understand what they're building, much less why I should give them money for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll stick to, submitting credit card payments to Desora.
Yeah, I mean, like they say in the Kickstarter that like they want to be a web TV thing, social media, do like fast food delivery.
Yeah,
they got
the fast food thing is
that is on their Kickstarter. I'm not making that up.
True words have never been spoken.
Like they want to compete with Amazon, Steam, Just Eat.
Next week they're launching a podcast that covers Linux gaming. I mean,
they can have that space.
Listen, man.
I wish these guys the best of luck, but it's very ambitious. It's not going to happen.
No,
prove me wrong, boys. Prove me wrong.
Yep. Make liars out of all of us. I think there's something to be said and like focus on like 1 or 2. Hell, if you feel ambitious, 3 things, but this is spread too thin over a lot of other services that basically are going to do it better than what you are planning on doing. Now, if you pull it off, again, more power to you. I think that would be awesome. Prove us wrong, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
That is sort of the open challenge we have to like any of these crowdfunding things. If we make fun of you, prove us wrong. Make us eat our fucking words. Do it.
It's not real hard.
It's a cool product, and I'm totally willing to eat crow, but I'm not seeing it here.
All right. Well, how about we eat some, cue the music, because on that bombshell, you can always find us around 9:30 Eastern Time. Check out the schedule on our web zone, LinuxGameCast.com. You can find me at Vinstone on that Twitter thing, or just Vinstone in the Googles, and I'm at the G Pluses and everywhere else.
I'm Jordan Swung. You can find me eating my foot because I put it in my mouth so often at The Burning Fool, plus Jordan Swung on Google+. Hold on, I gotta get myself a little taste right now.
Nom, 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 nom.
And I'm Mike Tehan. You can find me on Google+ at plus Mike Tehan. And I think you can also find me on Twitter at Leprechaun for Life, but I don't really check that, so have fun.
All right.
Everyone just @message him.
Yeah.
About, like, random shit.
Just blow that fucking Twitter up, people. Show them some love.
Light it up.
Please don't.
Well, I'd like to say, what did we learn? But we know what we learned this week, Jordan. We know.
No?
No?
I wasn't paying attention.
No, come on.
Did we just record a podcast?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Oh, jeez.
We recorded like 6 podcasts, man. What are you talking about?
We're in big trouble.
Oh, man. I don't know. Come on. Buy us some more time as I figure out where the credits went.
The lesson of the week is do it again next week.
We can do it again next week. I mean, that could be a thing. I don't know. What do you think? Good idea? Bad idea? Phantom motherfuckers. All right, there's some credits.
Linux Gamecast Weekly, The Phantom Menace. The Phantom Man-Ass. That's a show title.
The Phantom Man-Ass? All right, I don't know if we might be able to get away with that. We can find out is what we can do. Can we get away with that? I don't know. Let's find out.
I think mixing booze and inhalers is why freaking God created the Earth.
I think mix all the booze and inhalers. Okay, do it. Do it.
I think that's why we get like the sharts that MT produces.
Mm-hmm. It's part of his creative process.
Smash my head on the wall until something useful
until you start,
out.
Or what you do is like you ever like push your fingers down on your closed eyelids until
no.
Your face
so
starts
you
bleeding.
see all the crazy colors. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's the thing.
It's definitely a thing. Try it
I
right
do that
now.
all the time. As
Don't press too hard.
5 dudes.